Chris Stokes. Chris Stokes is next on the chopping block because of Diddy.
And I'm telling everybody right now, Rasby does not feel safe. Pull out an APB for Rasby in Kansas City. I don't feel safe.
Chris Stokes must be up next, huh? Cause what the hell is going on with IMX? They done popped up out of nowhere almost 30 years later, and every single band member got something crazy going on. Something crazy going on.
Oh my God, you guys won't believe the absolute bombshell I'm about to drop about the entertainment industry. Sure, we all love the glitz and the glamour, but honey, let me tell you about the dark and twisted underbelly that'll have you clutching your pearls. I'm about to spill some piping hot tea about Chris Stokes, this huge R&B powerhouse from the early 2000s, and his alleged connections to Diddy's absolutely infamous parties. And trust me, this story is about to have you shook to your core. Let me break down who Chris Stokes is for those living under a rock. This man was everything in R&B and hip-hop. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I'm talking about the absolute mastermind who blessed us with B2K and Immature, those iconic boy bands that had us all losing our minds in the early 2000s, the infectious hits, those jaw-dropping dance moves, that signature style that had everyone and their mama trying to copy. But darling, in this industry, if something looks too perfect, it usually is. And the whispers that started coming out? Chilly. They weren't just whispers. They were screams that could shatter glass. The kind of allegations that could absolutely demolish someone's reputation. This man wasn't just playing in one sandbox, sweeties. Back in '97, he created the Ultimate Group, a record label that was churning out stars faster than a factory. We're talking Omarion, Jhené Aiko, Marcus Houston, IMX, NLT, literally anyone who was making waves in the industry. And movies? Baby, he was all over that too, like white on rice. Remember that iconic dance drama, You Got Served, from 2004? That was all him, writing, directing, everything. The man knew exactly how to ride that pop culture wave, whether he was dropping absolute bangers or creating dance movies that had everyone trying to break it down in their bedrooms. And don't even get me started on his fashion ventures. In 2007, this man launched the Christopher Bryan collection, and guess who was his main face? Kim Kardashian. Yes, Hunty. Before she became the Kim K we know today. The marketing genius was real. Fast forward to 2018, and he's signing these massive deals with Viacom, creating films like We Belong Together for BT and Bet Her through his company Footage Films. He was directing TV shows left and right, Sacrifice for Betty Plus, Howard High for Urban Flicks TV. Literally everywhere you looked, Chris Stokes had his fingers in the pie. But here's where things get dark, and I mean darker than your ex's soul. Because no amount of hit records or blockbuster movies can keep those skeletons locked in the closet forever. And baby, these skeletons weren't just rattling. They were doing a whole choreographed routine. The rumors about misconduct, they weren't new. But when they started resurfacing, Lord have mercy. We're talking about whispers of inappropriate connections with underage talent, claims of power exploitation over young artists. It was giving Predator vibes, and it was absolutely chilling. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, boom, his name gets tied to Diddy's notorious parties. Now, we all know Diddy's parties were legendary, but honey, for all the wrong reasons. These weren't just your regular A-list gatherings. Behind those closed doors, there were stories that would make your blood run Arctic cold. The allegations about these parties, horrifying. And now we're hearing about this shocking footage from the federal probe into Diddy's parties that has everyone's jaws on the floor. We're talking about some of the biggest names in the industry caught on camera doing things that would make a saint cry. And guess who's right in the middle of it all? Chris Stokes. According to law enforcement sources, what's on that tape is so disturbing that I literally cannot even. And when Chris found out about this footage, baby, he went into hiding faster than your man when you mention commitment. Sources say he's ducking and dodging authorities like his life depends on it, which honestly only makes him look more guilty. Now here's where it gets even juicier than a Georgia peach. Diddy is apparently in full panic mode, ready to throw anybody under the bus to save his own behind. The desperation is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Word on the street is he's ready to sacrifice Chris Stokes to the media wolves just to make his own scandals look like child's play.
Chris Stokes. Chris Stokes is next on the chopping block because of Diddy. Starting out with the related headline, Diddy's ex-head of security, yes, I saved Cassie and other people as well. That's great and all, but you should have gone to the police, or you should have spoken up sooner, dude.
And y'all, if you know the history here, you know it's messy.
The mogul slash wannabe rapper wants some of the pressure off of him, so is dropping names of other. First up is the record executive from the South and his group. The group's victims include a Y2K boy band and one of Ariana Grande's love rivals and her sister. Now, this is Chris Stokes, and allegedly it's been rumored that he is like literally the president of a NAMBLA chapter. You guys can Google NAMBLA.
And speaking of dark secrets, the allegations from Raz B about what went down during B2K's prime, devastating doesn't even begin to cover it. In 2007, Raz dropped this bomb on YouTube that had everyone gasping. He accused Chris Stokes of the unthinkable, claiming he and his brother Ricardo were victims while under Chris's label. But hold on to your wigs, because it gets worse. Raz said Marcus Houston was involved too, allegedly learning this behavior from Chris. The drama with Jason Lee? Chile! Just when Raz was about to spill all the tea, Jason got hit with a cease and desist faster than you can say cover up. But Raz, he wasn't about to let anyone silence his truth.
And they're like, take this down, deal with this privately. But I say, yo, they've ruined me publicly. They've tried to smear my testimony, make me out to look crazy, got people looking at me sideways, got people thinking that I'm gay, and I'm not, because I was by. So this is how we do this. Since y'all want to try to shut me down publicly with sending out cease and desist letters, let's get in the room with the lawyers and let's take a polygraph test. I'm going to take the test, and when I take the test, you can do whatever it is that you need to do.
The police are at my door. They walk past my doorstep. I need help. No, I'm not safe. The police trying to call everybody you know. The police just walked in my crib.
The retaliation against Raz for speaking out was absolutely brutal. There was this terrifying moment when he went live, literally begging for help as police supposedly burst into his home without a warrant. The fear in his voice, it was raw and real.
Let me tell you, I don't feel safe. I'm in Kansas City. I'm at the Hilton Hotel. And I'm telling everybody right now, Raz B does not feel safe. Pull out an APB for Raz B in Kansas City. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe.
Even Omarion hinted that something real bad happened to Raz.
Yeah, I definitely think something happened to him. You know, I don't know what happened to him, but I think something happened to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Between him and Chris, or him and other people?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't think that it's...
Then these screenshots started circulating showing Chris Stokes trying to deny everything and blame it all on Raz's brother Ricardo Thornton. The audacity of this man. He's out here saying, it's not true, stop with this, and trying to point fingers at someone else's criminal record. Please, the lies are as transparent as water. But wait, it gets even more twisted than a pretzel. This video surfaces of Ray J calling Raz, supposedly passing on messages from Jay-Z and Diddy, pressuring him to take back everything he said about Chris.
You gotta rephrase that shit, Raz. Like, you got niggas that hit me every day, Puffy, everybody, Jay-Z, everybody calling.
Done, I got you.
With you in this Chris Stokes shit, man.
I got you.
I need you to, like...
I got you, Ray, and I need you to have me too, because I think
Because it's like, damn, like, you didn't even really have to mention a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really didn't even have to mention a nigga. But I know what you were saying, though, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I respect you, Ray. Nah, I would never want to disrespect you, your mom, or your sister.
The whole thing with Jay and Diddy getting involved? More suspicious than your man's late-night text messages. During that call, Raz looked absolutely terrified, knowing these weren't just empty threats. Ray J's explaining how Jay and Diddy are demanding Raz take it all back, and poor Raz is trying to figure out how to make his retraction look believable without screaming, "Help me!"
Little video on World Star, I make it real organic, but I do like a little video where I'm playing a song or whatever, and I clear that shit up for everybody or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I can either do it that way.
I don't even want you to play the song. Like, I just want you to be like, because I'm on a whole other page, and like, you know, I got endorsers and shit. I'm getting a lot of things.
The desperation was written all over Raz's face as he tried to figure out how to backtrack without making it obvious he was being forced. And then, bam! He does this complete 180, suddenly praising Chris and calling him a protector. Girl, you could smell the fear through the screen. He claimed it was all about his unresolved past pain. But honey, we all know what was really going on. And let me tell you, the fans weren't buying this nonsense for a second. Everyone and their mama could see that Raz was being pressured by these industry big shots who were desperate to keep their dirty laundry from airing. The way they strong-armed him into silence. Chilling. But here's where it gets even messier. Let's talk about this absolutely cursed collaboration. Diddy, Chris Stokes, and R. Kelly all working together on Bump 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 for B2K. Looking back now, it's giving major red flags. The lyrics, the vibes, everything about it feels wrong, especially knowing what we know now. And having R. Kelly involved? Chilly. That's like adding gasoline to a dumpster fire. But wait, because the tea gets even hotter. There are these wild rumors flying around about Chris Stokes being connected to certain, let's call them questionable groups. And now he's apparently trying to rebrand himself with this whole religious angle? Please, the devil goes to church too, honey. Meanwhile, Diddy is over here playing chess with people's lives, allegedly pushing for Stokes to be exposed just to take the heat off himself. It's giving throw everyone under the bus so I can breathe energy. But Karma, she's that girl who doesn't forget an address. Now let's dive into this mess with Marquez Houston because baby, it's a whole other level of disturbing. The situation with Mia Dickey had everyone's alarm bells screaming. This girl vanishes at 15, then magically reappears as Marquez's wife. And during those missing years, she's supposedly working as an art director on Stokes' projects. Make it make sense. The timeline is shadier than a palm tree. Marquez is pushing 40 while Mia's barely old enough to drink. And that caption about being together for a decade, excuse me, the math is giving Predator, and people are finally putting 2 and 2 together. And then MTO News drops this bombshell suggesting Mia might actually be Miana Juanita Pinckney, this teenager who went missing from Oregon back in 2016. The story goes that she was trying to find her biological mom in California. And next thing you know, she's married to Marquez Houston. It's giving Lifetime movie, but make it real. The details are straight out of a horror story. Mia's birth mom lost custody. She gets adopted in 2012, then poof, vanishes from Oregon in 2016. Fast forward, and she's standing next to Marquez Houston saying, I do. When this user at Chris UK dropped those documents on Twitter, chaos erupted. Of course, Marquez tried to do damage control, claiming he met Mia through a mutual friend in 2018 and waited until she was 18 for anything romantic. They got engaged in 2019, married in 2020, but baby, people aren't buying what he's selling. The timeline is more suspicious than your ex's working late excuse. And this whole situation, it's just another piece of this dark and twisted industry puzzle. The way these powerful men keep controlling and manipulating young artists. It all circles back to Diddy's influence. Remember all those stories about the flavor camp where young artists stayed at Diddy's place? The way Usher talks about what he saw there as a teen? It's enough to make your skin crawl. The pattern is crystal clear. It's all about control and manipulation under the guise of mentorship. The way Justin Bieber gets all awkward and uncomfortable talking about Diddy's lavish gifts and wild parties. His body language is screaming what his words can't say. All these stories, all these connections, all these eerie parallels, they line up perfectly with what Cassie revealed about the industry's dark side. The control, the coercion, the power plays. It's all part of the same twisted playbook. And now, the chickens are coming home to roost. Diddy's trying to make Chris Stokes take the fall. But honey, his own closet is bursting with skeletons. Old footage keeps surfacing, receipts keep dropping, and no amount of PR spin can save him now. The industry that's been so good at turning a blind eye, they can't ignore this tsunami of truth anymore. The survivors are speaking up, the activists are demanding justice, and the public, they're done letting these predators hide behind their power and influence. It's not just some cancel culture moment. This is a full-on reckoning, and both Diddy and Stokes are about to learn that karma doesn't care about your net worth. The game of survival they're playing, it's about to blow up in both their faces. In both their faces.